Hey guys, Richard Blaine here. Thanks for stopping by my easy cooking channel tonight. I know I didn't make anything last week. I've gotten myself down to making 2 videos a month. I need to relax a little bit. It's been a hectic schedule for the last year and a half. And recently I've been taking a lot of requests. A couple of months ago, a nice girl named Dia contacted me and said, I've watched all your Asian food videos and they're really great, but you've never made anything Malaysian. So I got back in touch with her and said, what is it that you would like me to make? And she sent back 2 words, Nasi Lemak. And that's all she sent. And she left me to do the research. So I did the research, and today I'm going to make something called Nasi Lemak, or fatty rice. It happens to be the national dish of the Malay people, and actually it's really good. Once I did a little research and put a dish together, it's really tasty. It's soul food, man. As far as I'm concerned, it's Asian soul food. Got anchovies and eggs in it and all kinds of things you can do with it. So this week, for my viewer, Dia Kaur, I might not be pronouncing it right, Kaur, I'm going to make Nasi Lemak, the national dish of Malaysia. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Let's get going. And as usual with YouTube, 15 minutes. Let's get going. I'll see you on the other side. Okay guys, first things first, we're going to make the rice and then we're going to make a sambal. Now, this is very fragrant rice, this nasi lemak, this fatty rice. Now, you need to follow the instructions of the rice you're going to use, either jasmine or basmati. I'm using jasmine. This particular brand of jasmine says to use 2.5 cups for every 1 cup of rice. So what that ends up being is 2 cups water, 1/2 cup of coconut milk. I have 2 cups of rice here. That's going to be 4 cups of water and 1 cup of coconut milk. Okay, it makes the best nasi lemak doing it this way. So there's the water, 4 cups of water, 1 cup of coconut milk. Okay, 1 cup of coconut milk. I'm going to turn the heat on. There we go. And I'm going to stir this together. Okay. Now usually you just use water to make most Asian rice dishes, but this nasi lemak rice is just fantastic. Probably the best tasting rice I've ever had in my life. Now, while this is coming up to heat, okay, I'm going to add some brown sugar. You could use palm sugar if you want. I have palm sugar in the house here, but it's hard as a rock and it's a pain in the ass to deal with. So I'm just going to use a little bit of brown sugar, and the sugar is optional, but it happens to bring out the flavors that I'm going to add into this rice. As well, I'm going to add some fresh ginger root. Okay, that's going to be removed when the rice is done. Okay, if you have a stalk of lemongrass, fantastic. If you don't, and you have some lemongrass powder, add some lemongrass powder. This makes the rice really fragrant, really delicious. About 1, maybe 2 teaspoons of lemongrass powder. Or if you happen to have a chunk of lemongrass stalk, bruise it up a little bit and put it in. The main component, and I had a hard time finding it in town, is this. This is called pandan leaves, or pandanus, or screw pine, and I had to go all over town to find this. Okay, this is the leaf that the Malay people put in this rice to impart the spicy, fragrant flavor to the rice. It's a long leaf. I have 3 medium leaves here tied into a knot, and that goes into the nasi lemak rice. And I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, the rice is at a boil, and now I'm going to add some salt. Okay, about a teaspoon of salt. Alright, teaspoon of salt. I'm going to give the rice a quick stir with that pandan leaf and the ginger in there. I'm going to reduce the heat to the lowest setting to allow it to simmer. And I'm going to put this rice on a back burner, and we're going to make some sambal. Okay guys, this here is the base of the sambal. In here, in this food processor, is red onion, shallot, garlic, ginger, a little bit of salt, and instead of roasted chili peppers like when I made nam prig, okay, these are soaked chili peppers. I have a combination of japones, arbol, and California chilies in here, and I'm going to blend this up in this processor, okay. And this is going to be the base of the sambal. When you make a homemade sambal the first time, you will never, ever, ever buy sambal in the jar in an Asian market again. So I'm going to blend this together, and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay guys, here we go. Here are the ingredients from the food processor. The homemade sambal, the chilies, the onion, garlic, shallot, okay? There we go. In a little oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use peanut oil, doesn't matter, okay? You just want a high heat oil, okay? Now I'm going to saute these sambal ingredients, and I'm making a little extra. Okay. I'm going to saute these for about 10 minutes, get it to a nice reddish brown, and then I'm going to add some more ingredients to it. Okay guys, sambal's been cooking for about 10 minutes. It's gotten a little darker. Now I'm going to add some salt. Okay. About 2 teaspoons. Okay. Helps preserve. It helps preserve this sambal. It's very strong with the flavor of shallot and onion. So in goes the salt, and there's 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Okay. This is going to get mixed in to alkalize the sambal, because the sambal has a lot of acid. The sugar will help to sweeten it just a little bit, cut the sharpness from the onion and the shallot and the garlic, and help to alkalize it. Now I'm going to cook it this way for about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Oh, it smells fantastic in here. Okay. Now, the next step, okay, the juice of a lime, actually a half of a lime, okay, and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of tamarind pulp. Now you could buy the block and soak it down yourself, or you could just buy it in the jar the way I do. This is pure pulp. Pure pulp works every time. So we have lime, we have tamarind. Okay. Going to lower the heat on this sambal. Going to mix this in. Okay. And we're going to put in some dried anchovies. Okay. This is one of the key ingredients to this sambal, is the dried anchovies. I rinse them off, clean them, you know, get any dust, excess salt off of it. Okay. We'll put these anchovies in there. I'm going to reduce this to a simmer and cook it for another few minutes. Those anchovies are going to soften up. This is delicious. It just smells so good in here. My neighbors go crazy whenever I do a video. Okay. So here we go. Alright. I'm going to put the lid on this. About another 5-10 minutes, we're going to move on to the next step. Okay guys, just a couple more little things. You see the sambal has gotten nice and reddish brown, and those dried anchovies have softened up, and in goes 1 teaspoon of belacan, or dried shrimp paste. Okay, it's a very pungent ingredient. It's very hard, so I broke it up into small pieces and break it down in the pan on a low heat because I don't want to burn it. Okay. Now, some people at this point will add a little bit of water to their sambal to help break that down, maybe half a cup. So I'm going to put about 1/4 cup of water because I like my sambal thick. The only reason I'm putting this 1/4 cup of water and maintaining a low simmer is to break down that belacan shrimp paste. Okay, and I can feel it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to break that down, cook this for about another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to make any seasoning adjustments I need to make, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, the sambal has the consistency that I like. I've tasted it. I'm going to make some flavor adjustments. I'm going to add just a little bit of fish sauce, about a tablespoon, and that's it. I'm going to stir this in. This sambal is sweet, sour, tart, hot, pungent, the myriad of flavors, the full spectrum of Asian cooking. Okay, now I'm going to let this sit here and simmer another 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to make some side dishes that go with Nasi Lemak, and then I'm going to plate up. Alright, there it is guys. Nasi Lemak. Oops, stray rice grain. Nasi Lemak, served on a banana leaf on a plate with some traditional ingredients. Hard-boiled eggs. Okay. Peanuts with anchovies. I chose to use cashews that I sprinkled with some lemongrass powder and some kaffir lime powder, and the anchovies. Sambal quail eggs, cucumber, and some grilled ono filet. Okay, there's the rice, it's nice and pungent, pandan leaves removed, and the sambal with anchovies. Nasi Lemak, the national dish of Malaysia. I want to thank my viewer Dia Kaur for suggesting I make this. It's delicious. You should try this, make it your own. I'm sure you'll love it as much as I do. I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.